Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Hope everyone is well. My name is Tabrice, and this is the Amateur Football YouTube channel. And if you love getting grassroots football, if you love Sunday League football, if you love cup competitions, if you love interviews, this is the channel to be on. So let me just talk about the elephant in the room. And again, the reason why I'm wearing sunglasses. So, and I can make it quick and short. The reason why I'm wearing sunglasses because I've got a splitting headache. And again, hey, like it is what it is. I literally had COVID, and yesterday was my first day out of isolation. So yes, everything's cool. I had it. I kind of had like the mild symptoms, but even the mild ones, it's still something that you just do not want to get. So of course, with the kind of studio lights that I have, had a show yesterday as well, and I've got, of course, I'm kind of doing like a show now, and I've just got a bit of a splitting headache. Hence the reason why I've got the sunglasses. So hey, that is out of the way. Jamaal, for some reason, is not with us today, and hopefully he is safe and well, but I can't get hold of him. So hopefully he will literally jump on. But you know what? Hey, you know what? The show must continue. So I will literally do my own review on the Challenge Cup final that happened probably about a month ago now, a few weeks. Mile End Baiteze versus Grand, and he was at Meridian, and Grand won in extra time. But I mean, hey, like the game was, hey, it was a game of I'd say a lot of incidences, maybe, but hey, like I'm literally just going to power through and kind of give you my own I'd say kind of thought about it. So yeah, okay, so what I can say right now is, okay, so the game started. It was a evening game, and I got there late. So, but I mean, again, I'll literally want to thank Chris for literally kind of coming on and literally recording like the team's warm-ups. At least getting some of the manager's perspective of the game. I think what I kind of saw from the get-go was, actually, you know what? Let me kind of talk about what I expected from Mile End Baiteze. What I expected from Mile End Baiteze were, a very robust, and again, this is the most respectful thing I can say. A very robust, a very hands-on, a very rough, a very dirty team. And again, when I say dirty team, I'm not talking full of foulers. I'm just kind of talking like a team that just know the dark arts of playing football. And what I expected from Grand, I expected, again, a well-oiled, a like team that like knew everyone's roles and responsibilities, and also I'd say like a team that was kind of full of confidence, and and confidence, swagger. I don't know if there's a boundary, but I mean, I knew it would be a wonderful game. Meridian, hey, like whatever people thought about the pitch, it is what it is. So when the kind of game like started, it was very, 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 very cagey and already on the sideline. And, again, this is kind of something that, I have to, again, respect Grand. Like they brought an army. Must have been about 20, 25 people, in their dugout. And I'll probably say half of them probably weren't even players. But I mean, again, they literally created that kind of type of atmosphere. I won't say it was intimidating, but I mean, again, they just want to know, look, like we know how Mile End Baiteze can actually come across. We literally want to bring our people, and fair play to Grand. That's exactly what they did. Mile End Baiteze, there, I must admit, their bench was a little bit more lighter, but again, still noisy. I mean, Justin and Jamie, they will literally always be up for the chat. They'll be always up for the banter. And again, it was a very, very cagey 25, 30 minutes. It was really like a game for, what? Of course, none of the teams wanted to lose. But, like I kind of knew that like it was, Longest Nights came in, great game once the rain started to actually come down 100%. Okay, you know what? I literally have a representative from the London FA to actually come in and to kind of give his own perspective as well. Chris Murray. Chris,
evening.
Good evening. Thank you for kind of coming in and being part of the London FA officials that was actually part of the game. Again, what was your kind of initial feeling of the first 25 minutes of the Mile End Baiteze Grand game?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, really. I think both teams didn't really want to give too much away. I think it was quite a cagey 25, 30 minutes where both teams were trying to work out what sort of formations each other was playing and how to best break them down. There wasn't, from my memory, there wasn't too many chances in the first 25, 30 minutes really going. So it was quite an interesting first half, really.
You know what? That's so true, and it's a kind of typical game where like you would like think, oh, I'd say it was a kind of typical final that like it wasn't gun ho, and it kind of literally favored, personally, in the first 25 minutes, it probably favored Mile End Baiteze more because I don't think they were using a lot of energy. And I just felt if the pace of the game was going to be like this in the kind of latter parts of the game, Mile End Baiteze will actually kind of really, really kind of go and stamp their authority. What was your feeling of I'd say the like two benches? I mean, was there something that you could notice that one bench wasn't doing that another one wasn't?
I mean, with Grand benches, they obviously had a bit more support on the touchline, and it was a bit more vocal in terms of quite a few of them standing on the touchline, which probably annoyed Mile End Baiteze a little bit, especially with throw-ins on that side. From a sort of match official point of view, they're probably moaning a bit, but if you bring the fans down and there's a support level there, you've got to make the most noise because you've got to show how much support you have.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so true, so true. So again, let's be absolutely honest. I mean, like the first half wasn't, there was really nothing there that we can really kind of talk about. Again, it was kind of very, very cagey. It was probably just feeling each other out. What I noticed, because again, I was literally floating between both like sets of teams, is with Coach Justin. Again, like he's a very animated guy. And again, he was literally, I'd say, he was just literally walking from side to side, and like he was just constantly moving. And I think especially in the last 5-10 minutes of the first half, you could just see Mile End Baiteze now kind of getting into like the game. And again, it was literally because of Justin's, I'd say, constant moving up and down, and literally like he was just literally, I'd say, just kind of battering, and it was just a lot of he was just repeating instructions over and over again. Coach Ahmed was doing something similar, but he was a little bit more calmer. He wasn't moving. Maybe like because there were so many people on the bench, but like he like wasn't moving. Again, I won't say subdued, because no, I mean, but like again, I've actually heard him be like a lot more animated, but like, he was probably more analyzing like the whole game. And I just want to say, I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you know one of the Grand players called Chase.
Yeah, recognize the name.
Yeah, so literally Chase for Grand. I've kind of always said that he's kind of almost like the linchpin in the middle of the park. And with kind of Mile End Baiteze's energy and their just ultimate strength, Chase would literally be such a vital player. And he got a yellow card in the first half, and that was when it started to rain, and again it was going to be one of those type of games. So that for me was probably the most interesting thing that happened in the first half. I mean, hey, like at halftime, did you think someone else was at halftime, who did you think was actually going to win?
I mean, the first point you make about Chase, when we've been at games and stuff, and he's a player who potentially is one who can just pick the ball up from deep, find the little pockets of space, and then he can just drop in and out of places, which obviously helps. Which obviously helps a lot with him, because he's quite. I think when he's not on the pitch, I think Grand almost struggle in that midfield area, and then they kind of almost lose themselves with. You kind of need that influential player in the midfield to change things. I would say at halftime, I don't think there was really any team on top. It was more just a case of, both teams were just there, and I don't think there was any really winner that we could see at halftime.
Yeah, not true. And Jamaal has joined us, and before we like get Jamaal's comments, I think Omar Boss has come in and said, I would love to see Grand in the Upton and Bromley League. Yes, they beat Dons in the cup, but let's be honest, Dons are the best Sunday League team in London. Congrats all for winning it. Love to see Mile there as well. So hey, that's a fair comment. That's a fair comment. Jamaal, what was your opinion about the first half in the final?
First off, was interesting. It was very similar to how both semifinals were actually played. I felt that both teams were kind of. It's so cliche, but the reality is the reality. Both teams were filling each other out, and it was just interesting to see what was going to happen next. like I said in one of the previews, it's all about how the tactical battles, because Justin would be able to get back to his team. Ahmed would be able to get back to his team. Jamie would be able to put in his 2 cents. Vinny would be able to put in his 2 cents, and what's going to happen per se. So that's how I saw the first half.
And hey, it was raining, and and again, how I see it, especially the start of the second half, it was all about the team that was going to adapt better to the conditions. And for me, straight away, and again, this kind of comes down to like tactics. Coach Ahmed took off Chase, and that was a very bold move. Purely the fact that Chase is literally one of those players that will literally do anything for like Grand. And again, he will tackle, he will scrap, he's aggressive. And for him to come off at halftime, purely on the fact that he's got a yellow card, that was a big move. I mean, I don't know in terms of what Jamaal and Chris, I mean, I don't know what you guys felt regarding that change.
It's so hard to second guess behind a manager's decision, but I find that really interesting. Is do you think that's the main reason why he substituted Chase?
Oh yeah, definitely 100%. I
don't know. It's so difficult because no matter how well we know the teams, the manager will know the players even better than we do, and then this sort of football is a bit unnatural because you have such a high standard of players, but with roll on roll off substitutions. Because I really doubt Ahmed would have made that same decision if he was only allowed to make 3 or even 5 substitutions. But Chase is, I know he's a different person off the field than on it in terms of he's such a nice, friendly person off the pitch. But on the pitch, he's a combative, really difficult player to play against. But at the same time, I would fancy Chase to have the discipline to see a game out on a yellow card. But that's just my opinion. I've only seen him play 4 or 5 games, and Ahmed would have seen him play 50 or something. So Ahmed would be able to tell better than me. But that's how I see it.
Yeah, and of course, Gran scored first. And it was a well taken goal. And I said in like previous videos that whoever scored first, I thought that was they would literally go on and actually win. And Grand scored first. I can't remember who like scored. Again, I've literally got all of the footage which I'm still editing. And it was kind of game on. I kind of knew then that Justin and like Jamie would probably have to change their like system and kind of literally probably change their game plan. Actually, and this is a message. This is a question to like Chris. When like Gran scored their goal, and again when like people were running onto like the pitch, I mean, is that something that you as a London FA official were worried about, or again because with the kind of COVID restrictions, rules, etc.? I mean, what was your kind of thought process when like Gran scored?
All I'm going to say is a cup final and it's grassroots. It's in the nature of the game. If you score the goal in the first cup final, and you of course you're going to celebrate. It doesn't matter. Let them celebrate. Let them calm down, and they was eventually going to come off the pitch. It's grassroots football. It's a cup final. It's a big final. It's probably got more media than some of the professional games that it does. It was like, in the lead up to the final, there was so much. Your Fresh TV, yourself being the sponsor of the cup, it's a big final. let them celebrate. Let them celebrate a big moment of their careers.
Love that. Love that. You know, that's such a Sky Sports BT answer, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And hey, like I know Jamaal was literally in the kind of background, kind of getting like a lot of things done. I mean, when you heard that grand scored, what were your initial thoughts?
Here we go. You know, Justin, what you got? You know, Charlie, what you got? Taya, what you got? Ollie, what you got? Because there's just no other pressure. There's no bigger pressure than that. You are playing a team that is as good as you. They've scored first, and you're playing in some uncomfortable conditions. You know what you got, and what we all got was what Mile End had been doing for a very, very long time.
Yeah, so true. And hey, like I think, you know, everyone knew, including Grand, that Mile End would literally come back strong, and exactly what they did. They were knocking on the door, they were harassing, and I would say halfway through, like the second half, it was all Mile End Baiteze. Again, you know, they were just winning the first balls, they were winning the second balls. And yeah, but I can't remember exactly when Mile End Baiteze scored, but they like scored the equalizer. And you know what? I mean, at that time, no word of a lie, like I thought there was only going to be one winner, and literally I thought that was going to be Mile End Baiteze. They, you know, again, as you've said before, Charlie, Teo, like they were just constant, you know, and at, you know, this level, if you have those type of athletes, especially when you're down, you've always got a chance. Mm-hmm. You've literally always got a chance. And again, like I want to just try and paint a picture to, you know, everyone that wasn't there. It was raining cats and dogs. Like we're like talking, you know, torrential rain. So again, you know, it was only going to be the fittest and the, you know, and the kind of strongest, and the kind of people who literally had the biggest characters that were going to survive. And at that present moment in time, it was all Mile End Baiteze. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The game finished 1-1, correct? As in, after 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I think, and again, correct me. I mean, again, probably Chris, you was like probably there more so than Jamaal. I like believe there was one incident where Mile End Baiteze felt that they were very unfairly done, where I believe it was a grand number 7 who was already on a yellow card kicked the ball away, and within 5 minutes he got substituted. So again, you know, both of you as referees, because I can see both of you smiling, do you think that was the right decision, you know, in terms of what the referee did? I mean, is it something that you would have sent, you know, given a yellow card to, you know, to a player? I would love to get your thought process. And let's start with
yes. With the greatest respect, it is Grand's year. Simple as that. Because when those sort of 50-50 decisions go in your favor, it was Grand's year. And I've told everyone that. Listen, you know, a lot of things seem to be going in Grand's favor. Not anything untoward. It's just the footballing gods want something to happen. If you look at against Kamazi, they win a penalty shootout. Obviously, they've got to get credit for that because they've got skill, they've got ability. They held the bottle, won that. There was a heavily mistimed challenge against SC Dons. and you know, Trey put in a pretty naughty challenge, and the referee decided to take a more lenient route of a yellow card. And in the final here, it would have been, in my opinion, for a final, it would have been a cheap red card. But if the referee was, you know, being observed, or if the referee wanted to follow sort of best practice, I don't think a red card would have been a surprise to anyone there. Justin and Jamie were very understandably upset by the decision. I still put my absolute trust and faith in that referee, but that was a decision that went against Mile End, and I think Mile End had to consider themselves unlucky.
Again, another Sky Sports BT.
That was no Sky Sports. I just think when it's your season, those things go in your favor, and it depends how you look at it. You can talk about Grand, you can talk about Mile End. Mile End have had, you can't get through. I don't think any team can win 6 or 7 matches in a row without some luck. Mile End against Continental in the round of 16 got a significant amount of luck. Once again, excellent attitude from the players, a bounce back ability, handling the pressure, but they still got a good amount of luck in that match as well. Their goal against AFC Hammersmith Town was a very lucky goal, So if you want to take that sort of superstitious footballing god sort of stance towards it, maybe their luck just ran out with those sort of decisions going against them. But that's just how I see it.
Okay, and Chris, I mean, as a kind of referee, I mean, what would you have done in that situation?
I would have turned around and not even realised it happened, because in that situation, the worst thing you can do is talk to the player, because then if you wasn't at the game, he's kicked the ball probably 60 yards into the bushes, and people who know Meridian, trying to get balls out of the bushes is quite fun. And it was in front of the benches, so I would have just left it, because I think the referee made it worse, that the fact they had a word with him, and then it's right in front of benches, so all the heat's on the referee. Oh, why are you not sending him off? Why are you not sending him off? It can work both ways. If he did send him off, it is correct in law. However, in a big final like that, giving away a second yellow for that, it's just not worth it.
Right. So no, fair enough. Good evening to Spencer. No, I don't think I'm part of the Matrix. It's purely because I literally have a banging headache because I've just recovered from the dreaded C word. So hey, apologies, but yeah, hey, it is what it is. So yes, I'm soldiering through. But hey, I mean, again, very, very intelligent man management by Coach Ahmed, in terms of taking number 7 off, because again he's a constant threat. So again, this kind of shows great man management, and it also shows that there's no one player bigger than the team. And I don't know if you can say it's a punishment, I don't know if you can say anything else, but hey, with that number 7, he must felt really, 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 really kind of gutted. But again, it's all about the team more than anything else. So we go into extra time. And this is probably what people really didn't really want. We're talking after 8-9 o'clock. We still, it's crapping down with rain. I'm literally drenched from head to toe. Everyone's looking and thinking hey, what is going on? But and again, to the guys, Mile End Baiteze and Grand Athletic, we are talking about athletes here. We are talking people who can literally have the mentality of professionals. And kind of going into extra time, I knew this is literally where, for me, Mile End Baiteze will literally be, in their element. However, Grand Athletic had other ideas. Jamaal, Jamaal and Chris, I know again, Grand Athletic scored first in kind of extra time. And again, I would love to get Jamaal's opinion when kind of Grand took the lead at 2-1 within extra time. What was your thought process?
every time you see a goal in extra time, you think that's it. You know, a majority of extra times, you know, some of the extra times don't even have a goal in it. You know, that's why you often get penalties. But, you know, usually when a team scores, you think that's it. Maybe, if any, because the goal was a bit sort of earlier in extra time, maybe there was a chance. But when they scored there, you're like, oh, wow, well, you know, I don't know if they're coming back from this. And if Mile End's coming back from this. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, whoever scores first in extra time usually wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true, so true. And again, relentless. Grand Athletic were just relentless. They kind of go in, and probably this is like the first time where like I felt Mile End Baiteze just literally ran out of steam, and you know, and Grand Athletic went on to actually score a third. And again, we're like talking a very right. So literally, Grand score to make it 3-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And literally, this is literally when like the Grand Athletics bench was just vibrant, just energetic. And, you know, again, you know, you can look at two different camps, and you look at one that, you know, in terms of Mile End Baiteze, they just looked, you know, just deflated. And I was looking at Justin and I was looking at Jamie, and they were just looking at each other, and I was thinking, okay, you know what? I think they've just run out of steam. And, you know, then I was looking at Grand Athletic, and of course, like they were already cheering. However, again, Coach Ahmed was saying, look, you know, without saying too much, he was like still calm. He was still backing out instructions. Hey, you know, and exactly what, you know, we all know Mile End Baiteze can do. They came and they scored a goal with 5 minutes left. And, you know, again, I thought it was actually, no. Actually, you know what? Let's go back a little bit more. Another very interesting incident when the rep.
Why'd you stop yourself?
Yes. No, you know what? Where I think it was Tayo. He was 1-on-1, I believe, and the goalkeeper took him out. Can like you guys remember that incident?
Yeah, I remember it. I had a pretty good view of it. You know, it was one of those ones where, you know, the referee once again has made a decision, and I don't know. It's difficult to speak for the referee, but I think the referee definitely has adopted a situation, a mindset that a lot of referees adopt in big matches, where it needs to be 100% clear. In the referee's mind, in the heat of the moment. And the referee would have been bouncing in his head between yellow, red, yellow. And the referee decided to go for a yellow card in that case. It felt that the Tayo's touch was a bit heavy, and he was a bit wide of the goal. You know, the referee and I have had a discussion after that, which will remain private. But once again, the referee has adopted a very, very common mindset. Big match, extra time, and you don't want the match to be won or lost on a referee decision. It was you know, a goal scoring opportunity. In the referee's opinion, it wasn't an obvious goal scoring opportunity, and that's how the referee saw it. In the heat of the moment, with only one look at it, with all that pressure on him, that's how the referee saw it.
Okay, so you said it was a goal scoring opportunity, but it wasn't a clear goal scoring opportunity. In
the opinion of the referee at the time, correct? Yeah. I think something funny.
Okay, cool. Hey, like, I mean, Chris, I would love to get your opinion about that incident. I don't know if you can remember it.
Yeah, I remember it very clearly. I think the referee's distance, because it was extra time, and it was, you know, the pitch was probably quite heavy at that point because of the amount of heavy rain we had. I think he had to potentially rely on his assistant a bit more. But as Jamaal says, referees only get one look at it, and he made a decision. He took his time, and he didn't think it was a obvious goal scoring opportunity, so he went with a yellow.
Okay, no, fair enough. And Mile End Baiteze pull one back with about five minutes left. I believe it was Charlie that literally got it. And again, I must admit, they were literally knocking on Grand's door, wearing them down. Grand did look leggy. They really, really did look really, really leggy. And I just felt that, there was going to be at least another opportunity for like Mile End Baiteze. And I believe they did have a half chance. I mean, again, I've got to look back on the footage, but I mean, hey, like the game finished 3-2. Exactly what Jamaal said. I think Grand just deserved it. And with like not only the teams that they've played, the goals that they've scored, penalty shootouts. Chris, do you think Grand deserved to lift up the trophy?
I mean, they've got a very good coach who's very passionate for the game. I was fortunate enough to interview him before the game for yourself. I listened to obviously the interview after the game in the changing room. I think when you have a manager like that, and he's a very well-drilled manager, I think it always comes from what they do before the game and during the game, and they take it very seriously. Got some very good players in Chase and other players, and I think I think we didn't know who they were. Maybe not as known as the other bigger teams, but we definitely know them now, and they will definitely be a big threat next year in this competition. And I think whoever draws them in the first round has to be quite concerned.
Yeah. And Jamaal, I mean, again, Grand Athletic. I mean, what's the one thing that you was really impressed? What's the one thing that impressed you about Grand?
The one thing, it has to be one of the most impressive seasons I've ever seen. Has to be from a team. Obviously, several of their players, I would have refereed before, would have seen before, and they make up a set of players who are capable of winning the competition. But a lot of their players I've never seen or heard before, and for them to come out of absolutely nowhere, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, if this was a different level of football, I mean, what would the odds have been, knowing what we knew about them, which was absolutely nothing? I mean, what would the odds would have been of winning the title? I mean, it's it's amazing. Everyone associated and involved with Grand Athletic, they really, really need to be proud of themselves. They have to be, and it's just it's just madness. And it's not just the London Cup as well. You can't just say, oh, they're a cup team, and Cups favors the underdogs. They won the league as well, and it's just they had to knock off AFC Brixton. In the cup and the league. I mean, AFC Brixton's not an easy team to face, especially when you need a result. So, Grand Athletic, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely well deserved. Master Blaster 205. I don't know if you guys can actually see what this person's wrote. Will either team be entered in the Nationals next season? We got some good teams down here capable of mounting a challenge to Merseyside's domination of this cup, of this competition. Is it something that you think Mile End Baiteze or Grand Athletic could actually challenge like the teams from Merseyside?
I thought St. Joe's were the national champions. Aren't they from Bedfordshire? Have I got that wrong?
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. Master Blaster is going to have to confirm that. I don't know about the Nationals next season in regards to if these sorts of teams will re-enter, because with non-league seem to be getting back on its feet, players can only play with so much. So, we'll see about that. Should they join the Nationals? I don't know. It really has to work for a team. You have to have a lot of committed players who are committed only to that team to be successful in the Nationals. Because if not, you only need one weekend where you're under strength, and if you're under strength in the Nationals, you get knocked out.
Yeah, cool. And Spencer Grady's kind of come in, and Chris, I'd love you to can answer this. Are Grand Athletic the Leicester City of non-league, or should say grassroots?
Potentially, they've come in this year. They've won the league. They've won the Challenge Cup, which is a very hard competition to win in almost your first year of almost being known. I don't know if they're there yet, because obviously their history isn't as big as Leicester. But I think they're a team where they can create a lot of history in a very short period of time, and they could be a very well-known team in the space of 2-3 seasons, and they've got very good players as well. So there's potential there.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if you guys kind of can echo what I'm about to say. I think it's all about consistency. Yes, Grand have now like won it, and of course they've literally won their league, but can they win it again? Can they literally maintain this level? Because again, that's what now people are going to be looking at. That's what I'm going to be looking at. That's what now they've literally made a name of themselves. And again, there's like players now like Chase. Thank you for kind of coming on. We've been kind of talking literally like about you, and again, like Chase has come on now, so people now know of Chase. People are now going to be having clips of CADs now. Like people now are going to be knowing who Coach Ahmed is now. Can they do this every single season?
All of what you're saying makes sense. The reality is, I fancy them again, because it's a funny world. It's a funny world. If we did odds again, like when I was young, and I remember when Brazil got to the final in 1998, got beat by France, and then a week later, the betting odds came out for the next World Cup 4 years on, and Brazil were top of the odds. I went to my dad. I was like, how could they just got beat by France, like actually beaten off the park 3-0. How could they be favorites to win? And he's like, well, perception's reality. People perceive Brazil to be the best. So therefore people always betting on them. And if the betting odds came out now or in 6 weeks time, the betting favorites would be SC Dons. I guarantee the betting, they just won their league as well. They'll probably make another signing or two, and they just have a lot of clout. They have a lot of resources, and people will still be fancying them. Rising Ballers will probably sign someone who's just got released from Aston Villa under 23s or Fulham, and then they'll probably be second favorites, and then maybe Baiteze or Mile End or one of those teams will be third favorites. And I just think when the season rolls around again, people are going to find a way to forget about Grand, which is what happened. This season just finished, and I think they have a chance. I know, Grand would have won some of those matches on the element of surprise, and that element of surprise is gone. But I still think people will be checking the SC Dons result. They'll be checking the under the radar result. They'll be checking the Rising Ballers result. How did Grand get on? And if you aren't treating Grand like one of the major teams in London, but they're the kings. They're the kings right now, and I just think I fancy them again. I just think when it comes down to it, people will think that this was a lucky win or a fortunate cup run somehow. I don't know how they could think that, and I fancy them again, even if not to win it. I just don't think they're going to win it and then get knocked out in the first round next season. No, I think I could see, and this is what I mean. A lot of teams have grown so much, but haven't been able to win either the London Cup or their league. Like Takers, and they've done such a good job with social media, probably better than Grand Athletic. And I just think a lot more eyes, despite Grand winning the Cup of Cups. I just think a lot of eyes, especially by the time next season, will be on Takers, Highgate Albion, Rising Ballers, SC Dons, under the radar. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, Brilliant. And again, thank you to all of the comments, team Croppish. If like anyone's a Liverpool supporter,
big up Callum. I haven't seen Callum in years.
Honestly, go and like support team Croppish if you're a Liverpool fan. Hey, like I mean, again, I was mightily impressed with that Grand, and next season, honestly. Again, we've like not even talked about Lambert Falstars, Kenningwell. But again, let's not take this away from Grand. Like they are the kings of London. They will now be able to attract players as well. Now, let's kind of see exactly how like Grand react to this. Because again, that's what people now want from Sunday League football. We literally want the best teams and the best players in the best cup competition, which is the London FA Challenge Cup. And again, I just want to say it, say it live. Being the official sponsor, it's literally opened up my eyes, no pun intended, with the sunglasses, to teams and to players and to coaches and honestly, like anyone that's looking to sponsor the like Challenge Cup, if it's other cup competitions, do it 100%. And any content creators out there, or any photographers, videographers, journalists, just go to London Challenge Cup game and just do your thing. It's not exclusively for the sponsor, it's for anyone. And again, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet Chris, to meet Jamaal, to meet the fans, to meet teams and players that you wouldn't necessarily go out and actually see. So honestly, thank you so much to Chris and Jamaal and the London FA for allowing that much of football and myself to actually sponsor the London Challenge Cup. Anything else to say, guys?
Tabriz, who's your winner for next year?
Okay. Wow. You know what? Exactly what Jamaal said. Like it's very hard because people are still going to be recruiting for players, and so but in terms of you know what, I'm gonna say, and it's not because of anything else, and I will tell you why. I'm going to say Grand Athletic, not only because they are the current holders, yeah. And again, people might think, oh, I'm sitting on the fence and but when I watch how they play, and when I watch how Coach Ahmed and the management staff and what they do, because actually that's kind of what I like to do. Yes, I like record games, but I really like to analyze what's happening behind the scenes. And again, Coach Ahmed is probably one of the best managers I've seen, and the best managers as well. Like without talking too much, because I will be having a conversation with like Coach. He has big aspirations, and you can tell how he managed and conducted himself on his journey. You need someone like him at the wheel to actually win a competition like this. So hey, like I'm gonna say Grand Athletic. And again, we don't know how the fixtures are gonna be put out. Could be Grand versus Lass, it could be SE Dons versus, we might have a blockbuster first round. We just don't know how they can attach. But I mean,
that's kind of why I fancy them again, because obviously it depends how many teams enter. But if 63 or fewer teams enter, then Grand will get a bye in the first round. So as per right, as champions. So everyone, let's say if the magical number of 63 teams enter, Grand will be the only one with a bye. So everyone else will be playing Rise of Borders on the radar as he runs. And I think some of them will obviously have pretty big wins, Hatcham, Lambert Full Stars. And I think everyone will be chatting about them, this, that, and everyone will literally forget about Grand just like they did this season. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, 100%. And if you can ask me my like dark horses, it would be Hatcham. I think Hatcham are going to be my dark horses. I think they have like recruited well, especially at the back end of this season. It'd be quite interesting to see if they can hold on to those players. But yeah, literally, I'd say Hatcham would be a team to watch. Guys, thank you so much. I am not going to put a date in terms of when I'm looking to release the cup final game, but it's going to be out real soon. And again, apologies if I've not been as active. Let me just say again, I've like recovered from like the dreaded COVID. Yesterday was my first day of outside of isolation. So hey, like it's kind of good it's good to be out. I'm still trying to get my energy up, but I'm back. So there's going to be again more filming, more editing, more project stuff. Myself and Jamaal had a great conversation. We're with a team that's again, I can't wait to actually get out that footage. But again, thank you to everyone that's literally supported me, supported the London FA, that supported Chris, supported Jamaal. Pre-season is here. I can't believe it's pre-season. Actually, before we go, is it coming home, guys? Is it coming home?
It's England's turn to win. As simple as that.
Chris?
Italy, England final. England are going to win.
Wow. Okay. And if England win, are we like going to go out and literally celebrate together as a nation, or literally are we like going to get on Gareth Southgate's back and literally want him out if we can get knocked out in the qualifiers of the World Cup? Sorry, hey,
hey, that COVID's messing with your brain, bro.
I know. I'm sounding kind of, I'm kind of sounding kind of, the kind of antibiotics haven't kind of kicked in yet. So hey, let me just end it right there. Thank you so much, guys, for like tuning in. Watch out for some more content coming out. Again, thank you to Chris and Jamaal for like coming on. Please like and subscribe to the London FA's social media channels. Please like and subscribe to the amateur football channels. Crazy amounts of content coming out. Hope everyone has a great Monday evening and a great week. I will see you guys real soon.